Hey Steve, where you at?
I'm right around the block, bro. I'm coming.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I can hear it real nice and clear with my Midland radio.
That Midland life, bro, it just changes everything.
Way better than CB, huh?
All I gotta say is I love Midland.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back, and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're right here with Steve, and we're going to be installing a Midland onto his brand new RAV4. So if you guys do have a RAV4 and want to see how we hardwire this radio, make sure to watch today's video. The cool thing about the one that we have here today, which we'll link down below in the description box if you want to buy it, but the cool thing about this one, it actually comes inside with the ghost antenna, and it comes with a bracket, so if you guys do want to mount it, say on the roof rack or anything like that. So make sure to stay tuned. And we also got one more thing that doesn't come included.
The antenna for the hood. This will allow me to clip it on there, and all this does is pretty much giving me options of where I can mount it depending on if I like it either on the roof rack or on the hood.
So if you guys did watch my TACOMA install video on this, basically that's the wire that I ended up getting. It's a lot more thicker as well, so it gives a little bit, I guess you could say, better frequencies, so it's nice and crispy versus the little antenna that comes inside. So now let's go ahead and just stop talking and show you guys exactly how to hardwire this bad boy.
Okay guys, so just a little rundown of what comes in the box with this kit that we will link down in the description box below. You get your Midland radio. This is what controls everything. The bracket. This is the little antenna that has 3M double-sided tape and is also magnetic, so you could stick it onto your roof. You can use this for like a quick install. The ghost antenna, like we said, I like this one a lot more because it's a lot more sleeker and it looks a lot better. It comes with another antenna mount, and this is going to be if you already have ditch lights installed, which I don't have on this car just yet, but stay tuned for a future video. Comes with an extra fuse and screws for that bracket. Here's the roof rack bracket, instruction manual. This is a cable so that you can extend the microphone. Little holder for that. Power supply. And like I said, I did buy this separately, which is the trunk lip mount.
Hell yeah. And make sure you guys do pay attention to what we're about to do. The reason why is because some of these things that the kit did come with, we're not going to be using. We're actually going to be using different things. Since we are going to be hardwiring it, we are going to be doing something with this, so make sure to stay tuned and pay attention to this install. Now if you guys do just want it for a plug and play, of course, straight out of the box, this will work. If you guys saw my TACOMA install, I showed you guys how to just do it a plug and play as well. Video in the description box below if you want to see that one. So yeah, so let's get to it.
All right guys, so right now we are in the car with the actual unit that controls everything. One thing I always like to start off with whenever I'm doing an install is I want to see where I'm going to put things and plan things out before I actually commit to certain things. After looking around in the car, trying to figure out where I'm going to run my wire, where I'm going to run the speaker, antenna, and all that, I found the best place to put this is actually going to be right here. If you saw Jesse's video, he actually screwed the bracket in. I'm not going to be doing that today. I actually have some double-sided tape that I'm going to be using. It's a lot less permanent, and say in the future I do want to move this radio somewhere else, maybe move it to my side, maybe I want to do something real stealth and move it under the dash. That's options that I would like to still have and not put holes on my interior and make it permanent. All right guys, like I said, I will be using double-sided tape. Now when using double-sided tape, I am using the 3M brand. I do work at a wrap shop, Reimagine Wraps. I know you've seen them around. This is the stuff that we use. It's super strong, lasts a long time, and this is the stuff that we trust. Get a little bit of alcohol, just put it on a rag, and we're gonna clean our mounting surfaces, always. So I'll be cleaning the mount, let that dry, and I've already established where I'm gonna put this. I'm just going to clean the area, make sure there's no grease, no residue, dust, nothing, because that will cause that to fall and not stick at its best that it can. Get a little bit of this double-sided tape, stick it on, just cut the excess, take the backing off. Now with the backing off, you do want to line this up first time because like I said, this is real strong stuff, and once it's on, it is on. This is not going nowhere. As you can see,
It's pulling off the freaking plastic.
yeah. When you're on the trails, even in Jesse's TACOMA, like I said, he screwed it in, but with this stuff, him hitting his the trails a lot harder than I will be on the RAP4. Let's face it, it's a RAP4. It's not going to be going as hard as trails as he is, but this ain't coming off. So let's go on to the hard wiring part of this install.
Oh yeah. One thing to note, you guys, the reason he did install it on this side is, one, if he did do it on this side over here, it's just going to be in the way when he's hitting his gas pedal. Another thing we did notice on this, it's going to be, of course, out of the way. And then right now that we get to the engine bay part, we're going to show you something else that has to do with the wiring. So that's going to help it that it's on this side.
All right, guys, so now we're getting to the part where we're going to hardwire the radio into the car to where as soon as I start my car, power is going to the radio. First thing we got to do is, if you can see on that side, Jason's helping me. I ran a clothes hanger over to the other side, and we're going to pull the power wire over here once we tape it up. It's real easy. If you look under, you'll see the opening where it goes, and like I said, you can just pull it back. Right now that we pull it back, we'll give you a better view of what that looks like.
All right, you guys, so before we actually run the wire over to the other side, we're going to go ahead and grab our power source right here, which is the one that we are going to run. If you guys are doing a plug and play, you know, you can use this, plug it in, and it's good to go. As far as for us, instead, we're going to be doing the hard wiring. So I could go ahead and now just chop this right here. Super easy, just like that. Nothing hard about this. Now this is trash. So now that I've done that, I could go ahead and tape this to the clothes hanger and run it through. All right, you guys, now that I have the wire taped to the clothes hanger, I'm going to go ahead and have Steve pull it to the other side. So that way we could start our wiring process. So it's going to just go straight through just like that. Super easy, nothing hard about that. And then we got him over here pulling it through. All right, so of course, now that we ran that wire through, all we have left right here on this side, we're gonna go ahead and connect the power wire into the actual Midland. And then what we're gonna be doing is tucking the wire in through the bottom right here, because it does have a small opening at the bottom. Just that way the wire is kind of out of the way and it looks nice and clean. And then of course, we'll have to connect our mic right here. And then we'll see where we can place it. And then from there, of course, the hard wiring, which is the easy process. Just make sure you guys pay attention. So let me go ahead and connect this now. This just literally plugs in just like that. And then you pull on, make sure you tug on it. That way you know if it's secured. And then we're gonna go ahead and just tuck it through the bottom of this plastic here. Just like that. And the only thing that's gonna be exposed is gonna be this. It's not much, but it's fine. So there's the end product on this side. Let's go ahead and now jump to the other side and continue the install.
All right, guys, so in this point of the process, I found out where my ground and my power source is gonna be. Now with where it's gonna be, I do need to extend these wires at this point. If you are not 100% comfortable with wiring and splicing and finding power sources, I would say this hardwire probably isn't something for you. Maybe leave it to a professional. And maybe do it the plug and play way, where you connect it straight to the cigarette lighter port. But me, because I do work at Mercedes-Benz, and like I said, I do work here at Reimagine Wraps. We do electronical installs and stuff. This is something that is very comfortable for me. I will be extending these wires about a foot, just to give me extra room, and because I do want to zip tie all these wires to save spots. I will be using solder joints. As you can see here, I love these because one, not only do they connect the wires together, they also seal them. So I don't need to use heat shrink or tape or anything like that to connect it. These are very handy, and they are very affordable if you look on Amazon and such like that. I love those stuff, and that's what we use at Mercedes-Benz. So we'll just strip this back a little bit, give it a little twist. Then this is where I would get my solder joints. Use a blue one. Now this wire that I'm using to extend this is a little bit bigger. It is okay to go bigger in wire. You never want to go smaller in wire. Give it a twist, and then in it goes. Just like that. You want to get that right in the middle of where that solder is. All right, now that that's set, I'm gonna get my heat gun. Now I prefer using a heat gun as opposed to a torch. It does take a little bit longer, but because we are working inside the car, it is a lot safer to do so. I usually use it on the low setting once I find it, and you just want to heat this up slowly. Then once you see that solder shrink, give it a second. Don't pull on it just yet. Then usually what I do is I give it a little tug, make sure it's a good seal. And what you can do is you can electrical tape this just to be safe. Give it a little bit extra insulation, but at this point, this is all good. and then I'll move on to the next one and I'll show you guys what we got once I'm done with that. All right guys, so now as you can see, I extended my wires. I put a little bit of electric tape around here to ensure a good fit. I individually wrapped them also just in case those solder joints get messed up a little bit. There's that insulation there. At this point, I'm going to be removing this panel, and a panel that's underneath here. When doing installs like this, you always want to make sure you zip tie them, because if the wires are moving around, if they're chafing, that's going to cause issues with them ripping. They're going to ground out, they're going to short something. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'll show you guys my zip tie job once we get it done, and show you what it looks like when it's done professionally.
Damn.
Alright guys, now that I zip tied my wires, as you can see, this is where they ended up with. This is why you want to give yourself a little bit extra, because if you noticed, when it was just hanging wherever, I had it till about right here. Going around wires, you do lose some of that length, but this is going to be perfect because we do have our fuse box here and the ground for our wires. Now I'll show you how I wired this up. As I always say, if you do something, it's worth doing right. Wire goes up there, above the brakes, it's all zip tied, and you do want to leave it somewhat tight just in case for a little bit of movement, or if you need to move things around. And once I wire this up permanently, I will be zip tying it even better. So we'll show you that, guys, right now, what fuse to tap into and where you can put your ground. All right guys, now this part is going to be very similar to Jesse's truck. As some of you might know, common theme in Japanese cars is they like reusing things a lot. They like setting up things very similarly. That's how they're able to punch out cars in and out and build them so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an add a fuse here, and just like Jesse's truck, fuse box is down here. We're going to pop off this little cover, and as you can see here, there is a 15 amp fuse right here. Panel outlet number 1. I'll be tapping there using the add a fuse, and just like I said, it's going to be just like Jesse's. We'll take power, tap it into our radio, and then after that, it's just getting a ground, and we're ready to go install the antenna, and then we're all done. Now in this part, some of you might find it controversial, but the ground that I will be using will be this bolt right here. Now I do know that this is up against plastic, but this bolt that this is holding in does have a washer, and I am putting it behind the plastic. I'm not going to be putting it in the front, so it is going to be making good metal on metal contact here. So if you just pull the plastic back a little bit and line that bolt up, it'll be just fine. And I did test this ground. It is a good ground, so that's why I'm confident putting it here, even though, like I said, it is plastic. Some people might not like that, but that is what I'm gonna do here on this application.
Now basically what he's doing, he's just gonna go ahead and put all the plastics and everything back together. Now that he's zip tied the wires where he needs it to be, he's just gonna put everything back together exactly the way he took it off. Once we finish that, we'll go ahead and get back to you guys. All right, you guys, so what I'm gonna be doing right now is I'm gonna go ahead and now connect the mic just so I could go ahead and power it up and see if it actually works. So super easy, you just go ahead and connect it right here to the front. Make sure it clicks in. So noticing here we put everything back together. Normally you want to test things before you put stuff back together, but we're super confident. We've done this a couple times already, so we know it's going to work. So basically right now it shouldn't turn on because the vehicle is off. I'm going to go ahead and now start the car really quick. Just put it in accessory mode. That should be fine enough. And then let's go ahead and try powering it up. And there it is, you guys. So as you can tell, this thing freaking works. So super easy install, and it's hardwired in, so now we won't have any problems. Up next, what we have left, of course, is we're going to be now installing the antenna on the hood. and then we could go ahead and test this out in the wild. All right, you guys, so we're basically done with the installation process, of course, but I want to show you guys one thing. So right here, what we have left, of course, is going to be the ghost antenna. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. We're going to go ahead and now grab the wiring harness for the antenna that he did purchase separately, of course. This one did not come with the kit. That's what we're going to be installing, so let's put that off to the side. Now what we have left from this kit is just going to be the stock antenna that it comes with. As you can tell, it's super skinny compared to the brand new one that he did purchase. It's super thick, great quality. Same thing, it is from Midland, but it's a lot better. So we have that left over. We have an extra fuse just in case. And then we have the other mounting bracket that we're not going to be using, and the other antenna wiring that we're not going to use. So we can go ahead and put that off to the side. You guys can do the same if you're doing it like us.
Alright guys, so now we're to the part where we're going to wire up the antenna. As Jesse stated, this is something that I bought separately from the kit. This is so I can mount it onto my hood, similar to his. One thing that I'm going to be doing differently though, I am going to be running it on the other side, because what you want to do is there's going to be a car by car basis obviously, but if you're following this guide, it's going to be very similar. You want to look around your engine bay to see where are some places where you can enter this wire from. A rule of thumb is look for big harnesses such as this. These are very likely going to be going into the car because these are main things that control things like your steering, acceleration, and such. This harness right here, as you can see, there is a grommet deep in there. You might not be able to see it, but it's a little hard to access. We actually found this one over here. Big grommet, easy to access, and it's gonna make it very simple for us to install a radio, especially since we have the radio on that side of the vehicle. So that's gonna make it for a very simple install. One thing I will say though, on your particular vehicle, any vehicle, if you do go into grommets, try to make as small a hole as possible, because with those grommets, what they do is they keep water out, they keep moisture out, and pretty much keep you away from the elements. So you do want to cut as small a hole as possible. One thing I will note too with this antenna, this part is removable. So remove that, and that's going to help aiding putting it in and making an even smaller hole. Let's get to it. Alright, so we got that removed. Now we're going to be doing just like how we ran the wire on the inside through. We'll tape this up with the clothes line, or clothes hanger, I'm sorry. I'm going to cut a very small hole with this razor blade that I got somewhere in my pocket into that grommet, and we're going to run this through just like everything else. So what I'm going to be doing now is, in this grommet, I'm just going to cut a very small triangle hole.
So right now what Steve's doing, he's just going to go ahead and kind of just look just to see where that grommet is from the inside. That way he could go ahead and run his metal clothes hanger through. And then I'm going to be on this side just trying to locate it. And basically where he cut that slit, I'm going to go ahead and pull it right out. We're going to go ahead and tape that wire through and bring it in. It's going to be super easy as long as you follow these steps. Now that it's fed through, I'm going to go ahead and pull it just slightly, a little bit. So here it is. So now what we're going to be doing, of course, like I said, we're going to go ahead and tape that end right there. And that's the reason we took off the connection to it. And then we're going to go ahead and tape it up. You don't need to go ham on the tape. You just want to put enough, just that way it kind of covers it up. So when you go ahead and pull it, it won't rip off. Now that we fed it through the grommet, now all we have to do is just feed kind of the rest of the wiring. So that way we don't have this much access. And then we'll go ahead and install this onto the hood. We'll show you guys where we're placing that as well.
Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to be putting the majority of the wire in my engine bay, so I just want enough to be able to keep this relatively hidden while still reaching the Midland USA. That's about enough right there. So now what I'll do is go under the hood, and I'm going to zip tie all this excess wiring. Once we mount this, I'll probably mount it to some kind of harness, or maybe I'll hit it away somewhere down here. But you do want to zip tie all this together just so it's not just flapping around, and you know, stay somewhat safe. Thinking somewhere right there, good enough. And Midland USA does provide a tool to tighten up these Allens. It was in the bag with the antenna. You don't want to go too crazy with this. You just want it enough just to hold it. Remember, this is an aluminum hood. This mount is there, very secure. I'm moving the entire hood with just that.
Damn.
All right. So now, like I said, we're gonna be running this wire probably down here where it's out the way under this cowling, You do want to give this a little bit of slack because this hood is going to be opening and closing. And one thing you do want to take note of, as you see this, it is next to the hinge. What I'm probably going to do is zip tie it here in the middle. I'll go grab one right now.
Just so it looks nice and clean. And of course, we're doing it on a RAV4, so if you guys are doing it on a similar vehicle, you can follow these kind of exact same steps. So there you go. Of course, ideally, having a black zip tie would look a lot better, but we ran out of the blacks, so we're using a white for now.
I actually found that there's a little compartment here where I can tuck all this wiring, and it looks real clean if I do say so myself.
The last piece of the puzzle is going to be this bad boy here, which is going to connect it to the radio. And then the other last piece is going to be this bad boy right here, which he's going to do right now. That's super simple. It's just literally you screw it on just like that, as you can tell. He's just twisting it. Damn, you give it a nice snug look right there. And then now we're going to go ahead and put this right here, connect it to the radio. And we can go ahead and go off-road and test this bad boy out, which we already know it works because I have this and I trust Midland. And it just connects right there at the bottom of the radio. Super simple, nothing too hard. Like that, and it twists right in. You just want to go ahead and do it until it's nice and snug as well. I just wanted to show you guys on the TACOMA and the RAV4 how it looks. So of course on the TACOMA, when you do install the antenna, this is it right here. That's where I put it. Midland does actually have a ditch light bracket that extends this way. You could also put it there. They also have another bracket that you can put on your roof rack. That's the cool thing about Midland. They make a bunch of different brackets for the antenna. As far as for the RAV4, this is where we mounted it. All right, you guys, so I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. We showed you guys exactly how to install this Midland and hardwire onto a RAV4. Of course, it's similar to many other vehicles, but this is specific if you guys have a RAV4. Now, if you guys do have a Tacoma and you guys want to install this Midland, go ahead and check out the description box below. We'll go ahead and link it there. I'm also going to link the product so that way if you guys want to buy it. I'm also going to link Steve's new page on the RAV4. Make sure to go ahead and follow the build. We'll go ahead and have behind the scenes there and just kind of the progress on the actual build and the adventures that we go to. So, yeah. No, just kidding. If you guys liked today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned. We have a lot more installs to come.
Jesse Rizo is here for you. It's here for you. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.